Hello, what's going on YouTube? Last YouTube video of the day. It is GZTV. We are here to talk about the 15th episode, the second to last episode of Season 3 of The Walking Dead. Wow, these seasons are like really fucking lengthy. I don't know how I feel about it. But yeah, we're nearing the end of Season 3, so I think the Governor Rick turmoil storyline is slowly coming to an end. One of the catalysts, one of the main parts of the storyline got killed off this episode. We are going to talk about that here in a minute. So we're kind of setting up for the beginning of the end for this season. Rick privately tells Herschel and Daryl about the governor's offer and his intentions to hand over Michonne, after which he will tell the rest of the group. He's like, look, I'm going to tell you guys this first. The governor wants Michonne. It's not good for us, I know, but hey, it is what it is, right? Herschel refuses to be a part of it, while Daryl reluctantly supports Rick. He's like, okay, whatever, we're sacrificing humans to the governor. And obviously Herschel, being a moral man, being like a religious man, he's like, no damn way in hell am I endorsing that, right? Rick seeks Daryl's brother Merle to help as well, but he does not think Rick has the spine to do it. He's like, you don't have the balls, you haven't been able to like follow through on anything. You know, he's kind of like questioning the manhood of Rick here. Merle later confides in Daryl that he considers Rick's decision hypocritical, since the group had become angry when he had turned Maggie and Glenn over to the governor. So when I take people over to the governor, you guys get mad, but when you take other people to the governor, like, let's have some sort of respect for Michonne. And I think Merle respects Michonne after being around her for a little while, probably longer than the governor ever was around her, so he has respect for her. So he's kind of against this. And he's like, well, Rick won't do it anyways, right? That's kind of what he's thinking. While Rick searches for wire to tie up Michonne, he has another vision of his dead wife, Lori, which causes him to reconsider his decision. He's like, look, my wife's watching over me. Am I sure I should be doing this? I don't even know, you know? However, Merle has decided to take the task himself, and he subdues and binds Michonne and sets off in secret to Woodbury. It was kind of weird because he like takes her to this tunnel with a bunch of walkers, and he like bashes her in the head, and I thought she would have died from that blow. I guess he hit her with like the steel part of the sword, not the actual blade. I don't know, it's weird. When Daryl finds them missing, he follows along on foot. He tries to track him down because obviously he's very worried about his brother. His brother's been going off the deep end. People have been kind of seeing this man's insanity unfold before their eyes, so they don't want it to cost a life or a couple lives here. But as we know, his downfall, his demise, he meets his ultimate demise. Merle hotwires a car, and they start to drive towards the arranged meeting spot, with Merle pointing out to Michonne that she is an outsider to the rest of Rick's group like he is. So they kind of have a bonding moment. They're like, look, neither of us are really respected by Rick's group, so let's just bond together, and we can do this. I'm going out with Rick's plan only because he doesn't like you, and I will take responsibility myself. Michonne gets Merle to confess that he had never killed anyone before joining the governor, and tells him they should return to the prison. He's like, look, the governor has like infected all of us, and he's probably going to infect me too, so why don't you turn around and take us back to the prison? Yeah, Merle was a pretty shitty person before he met the governor, before he got to Woodbury, but after he got to Woodbury, he got even worse. He started killing people, and obviously he killed like all three of the people from his group, when they were out trying to kill Michonne. He pretty much did. Merle has a change of heart, stops the car, and lets Michonne go free. He's like, okay, I'll go to Woodbury. You can walk back to them. Or I got unfinished business. You can go back to the prison. I'll be just fine. So he continues on to the arranged meeting point, which Michonne passes Daryl and informs him where Merle is going, so Daryl kind of knows exactly what's going on. And Daryl's obviously worrying about his brother more and more as the day progresses. Near the meeting point, Merle uses the car alarm and radio to slowly parade a line of walkers behind the car, almost like suicidal. He's like luring the walkers in, trying to kill himself with them, pretty much. I don't know, it's very confusing. It's very odd. He rigs the car to roll forward to the meeting site, where while he sneaks out. It was a really confusing part of the movie, and episode, or show, I guess we could say. That's like the medium that it's presented in. It's very confusing. Like, there were certain points in the show where I was drifting in and out of interest for this show, but it's definitely a pretty good episode, and I think it's really interesting how they handled this storyline of Merle, and his fate was sealed. The governor's men, including Martinez, have been waiting to ambush Rick's rifle, and are distracted by the empty car and the walkers. Yeah. Merle sneaks behind them and kills several, but soon is assaulted by the governor. The governor catches him. You're never going to get the best out of the governor. He's kind of like a Gus Fring. I mean, obviously, Gus Fring is a lot more iconic, as I'm looking at his action figure up on my wall there. Obviously, Gus Fring's a lot more iconic, but I mean, they're both made by AMC, so I'm sure they modeled the characters off of each other, maybe not to a full extent, but you get what I mean. The governor bites off 2 of his fingers, but Merle refuses to beg for mercy. Like, the governor's trying to get him to surrender and all that stuff, as he has been doing kind of with Rick's group, but Merle refuses. The governor shoots and kills him, and we don't know exactly that the governor killed him until the end of the episode. It's still kind of the cliffhanger, I guess. At the prison, Glenn receives Herschel's permission to marry Maggie, and then proposes to her using a wedding ring taken from one of the walkers at the prison fence, which is kind of fucked up, really, that he did that. I don't know. I kind of questioned that when that happened. Is that really moral of him to do that? But I mean, he's kind of had Herschel's blessing for a while, but now he actually wants to execute things. Now he wants to actually marry Maggie for once and for all. And he gives him a blessing, so that's really nice, very wholesome moment. Rick arrives and tells the group of the offer to turn over Michonne, but that he couldn't go through with it, and Merle predicted right. Rick couldn't execute it, which it's good he didn't execute it, because he's not a fucking good person to give up Michonne. Merle did himself, and obviously killed himself in the process, so it's kind of karma for Merle. Yeah, he admits he made the decision on his own and shouldn't have, not wanting to be a governor. He doesn't want to be like a tyrant. He doesn't want to model after Woodbury. He asks the group to decide if they want to stay at the prison or leave, and leaves to go stand watch as they make their decision, so he can kind of give them time to reflect on things. There, he watches as Michonne returns to the prison. He's like, what the hell happened to her? He's kind of questioning what the hell is going on there. At the meeting spot, Daryl arrives and clears out a few remaining walkers before coming across a reanimated Merle, so now he figures out that his brother is dead, and he figures out at the exact same time that the audience did, because although there was a gunshot, we didn't know if Merle was going to survive or not, so there's kind of this suspenseful moment, like, closing out the episode, did he survive? Daryl cries at his loss, and as the walker approaches him, Daryl slams it to the ground and stabs Merle in the face several times, manning up and kind of handling the situation. Critically acclaimed, of course. One of Season 3's best episodes by many. A B on the AV Club, 9 out of 10 on IGN. The performances of Danae Gurria, Michael Rooker, Stephen Yeun, Norman Reedus. I know Norman Reedus is Daryl, and Stephen Yeun is Glenn. I would assume Michael Rooker is, I want to assume that is actually Merle. I'm not sure. I don't know all the characters just yet, like they're actors or anything. I'm not that familiar with the show, but anyways, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. As always, it has been GZTV, giving you guys, reviewing your favorite TV shows out there, some of the most critically acclaimed shows out there. We are getting ready to finish Season 3. We still have 8 fucking seasons after this. My goodness. It's kind of redundant, but we're going to try to get through this series as well as we can. I think the finale is going to be great.